Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for having me. Okay, so the generative tools like VO3 and Nano Banana tend to get the most media buzz and most attention. However, there are a lot of other less flashy AI tools that can supercharge traditional post-production workflows for TV and film. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of some of those tools today. And just to give you some context, my background is as a producer in documentary and reality TV. Those are the post workflows that I'm most familiar with, so I'm very much approaching this through that lens. So first up, the traditional post process starts with getting your footage in. And one of the most tedious and time-consuming parts of that is logging your footage so you know what's there. Now, I've overseen series with thousands of hours of footage, so logging your footage can be a really massive task. Thankfully, there are AI tools now that can help with this process. So, Eddy AI and Strata are both platforms where you can connect and upload your footage, log and tag it with AI, and then you can export it back to your NLEs. Both of these tools can transcribe and summarize your footage, and Eddy AI allows you to distinguish between A-roll, like your interviews, and B-roll. You can actually prompt it ChatGPT style to search your footage and pull select sequences for you. Strata also has the capability to search and tag your footage. It also has a strength as a remote media management tool. So it's a great solution if you have a lot of remote crews and you need to give various team members access to your footage remotely. So another time-consuming part of the editing process is searching for the perfect shot that you need. Now AI tools can help make this faster with visual search. So both the tools we talked about, Eddy AI and Strata, do have this capability. However, if you'd rather do this within your NLE instead of going out to a different platform, Adobe Premiere actually has a media intelligence search function that will search for shots and text based on your description. So you can see an image of that actual search box on the slide. So in this example, the editor is just saying water, give me shots of water, and Adobe Premiere's intelligent search is pulling up all the shots in that project that have water. So AI transcription, particularly for interviews, I know has been around for a little while now. But this is something you can even use now for more than just interviews. So I just worked on a documentary series that had 120 days of footage, and we used AI to transcribe every single day of footage. Now, previously, no production has the budget to transcribe all of your footage. You're usually just limiting it to interviews. Now, look, the AI transcription weren't perfect. The transcripts for our product for our show were not perfect, but having this tool in post was still a huge time saver for navigating our footage. For searching transcripts, you can still search within NLEs and within programs like Eddy AI. However, you can also upload all your transcripts to an LLM like ChatGPT, and then search across everything at once. So you could put your transcripts in Claude or ChatGPT, and then ask it, hey, can you find all the instances in my footage that this character is talking about a specific topic? And it can help supercharge that search. So the next stage in the edit process is making a radio cut and condensing your footage into a cohesive story. This usually takes days at minimum, usually even longer to do. But AI tools are also speeding up this part of the process. Eddy AI can make radio cuts up to 30 minutes long just through natural prompting. And QuickSure is another tool. It was created by a veteran reality TV producer. Not only does this tool summarize and transcribe footage, but it analyzes the footage based on story beats. And because it understands story beats, QuickSure can create automatic radio cuts. You can then prompt the tool to make revisions to these radio cuts based on story. So I just want to, all these tools are amazing and can definitely speed up the process. I do want to give one word of caution. AI tools can still miss things. So as a best practice, as a producer, I still recommend that you watch all of your footage. Because if AI missed a soundbite that's absolute gold in its radio cut, the only way you're going to know that and catch that is if you yourself are still familiar with your footage and not relying solely on the AI to do it all for you. So there are also a number of AI audio tools that are useful in offline edit. One use is getting audio pickups with talents. So let's say you need a pickup and your talent isn't available. If you already have audio of your talent, which if you've shot interviews with them, you will, then you can use the voice cloning tool in 11 Labs to actually clone their voice and generate the pickup for you. If you do this, I do recommend as a best practice to just make sure your talent is aware and also is consenting to this. AI tools are also very effective at cleaning up audio and removing background noise, particularly the enhanced speech feature in Adobe Premiere and Adobe Podcast are really great for this. And another tool is LaLaLi. It actually goes a step further and can separate background music and dialogue into separate audio stems. So if you want to lose the background music, you can separate it into a separate stem and then just delete that stem. Or let's say you just need it to be lower in your mix. You can separate it into a different stem and then you can lower it in the mix. So image upscaling. So for anyone who's worked with archival photos on a doc, you know, some of them can be too low resolution for you to use on screen. But image upscaling tools like Topaz and Magnific can now up-res low-quality archival photos so you can get better resolution. So this potentially can help you save a photo that you may not have been able to use for your project previously because it was too low res. Something to keep in mind with the image upscaling tools is these tools can sometimes change the appearance of a subject, particularly if you're trying to up-res something that's super low res and make it very high res. Faces and especially text can warp. So I would definitely recommend testing out on your media to make sure that's working for your specific use case. And this brings us to one of the last parts of the post pipeline, which is color grading. Color Lab is a tool that can automatically color match shots across a sequence with one click. So it speeds up the early phase of color grading, which is shot matching and balancing. So then the colorist can spend more time on refining and finishing the grade. So as you can see, AI tools are speeding up almost every part of the traditional post-production pipeline. And there are a lot of tools to explore. And it can be overwhelming. So a great place to start is look at your own post-production workflow and identify, hey, where's the bottleneck? And then is there an AI tool out there that can help with that specific bottleneck? And there probably is. Many of these tools I mentioned have free trials. I would definitely recommend testing a tool out to make sure it fits your needs before you purchase it. Some of them will work great for your specific use case, and some of them may not. So definitely test it out first. And if any of you guys have questions, I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you very quickly. If you have any questions or want to follow up, that's my LinkedIn QR code, and please feel free to connect with me there. Thank you, guys.